reminder of nature's raw and unpredictable power. The Indonesian government has urged calm but remains on high alert as geologists continue to analyze seismic patterns. Experts warn that the region, located along the notorious Pacific Ring of Fire, remains vulnerable to future tremors and volcanic activity. Despite decades of research and improved early warning systems, the sheer magnitude of this event caught many off guard. Local schools, businesses, and transportation hubs have been temporarily shut down as authorities prioritize rescue efforts and safety inspections. Many residents are spending the night outdoors in open fields, fearful of further collapses or aftershocks. Some describe the event as the strongest earthquake they have ever felt in their lifetime. International organizations, including the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, have expressed readiness to assist Indonesia in assessing the aftermath and providing humanitarian aid if necessary. The full extent of the damage, however, is still being evaluated as communications slowly recover in remote areas. In a late-night address, local officials expressed condolences to the families of victims and praised the bravery of first responders. They also reminded the public to remain cautious, avoid damaged buildings, and follow official safety instructions as the situation continues to evolve. As the sun rises over the devastated landscape, the scale of destruction becomes increasingly visible. Cracked highways, collapsed schools, ruined houses, and shattered infrastructure paint a haunting picture of the night's disaster. Yet amid the tragedy, stories of heroism and solidarity emerge. Neighbors rescuing each other from debris, volunteers providing shelter, and communities uniting in the face of disaster. This powerful earthquake serves as a stark reminder of Indonesia's fragile geography, a nation built on beauty and danger, where the Earth's movements can shift life in an instant. The world watches closely as Indonesia faces another test of resilience, courage, and recovery in the aftermath of a catastrophe that shook both land and hearts. A massive and devastating earthquake has struck Indonesia, shaking entire regions and leaving residents in panic as the ground itself split open beneath their feet. The tremor, described by seismologists as one of the strongest to hit the region in recent years, sent shockwaves across several provinces, causing widespread destruction and chaos in multiple cities as aftershocks continue to rattle the nation. According to early data from the Indonesian Meteorological, Climatological and Geophysical Agency, BMKG, the earthquake struck in the early hours of the morning local time, with its epicenter located off the coast of Sulawesi at a depth of around 10 kilometers. The shaking lasted for nearly a full minute, long enough for residents to flee their homes and for alarms to sound across coastal areas. The tremors were felt hundreds of kilometers away, including in major cities such as Makassar, Manado, and even parts of Borneo. Sky News reports that several regions experienced ground fissures and visible cracks slicing through roads, farmland, and residential zones. In one village, witnesses describe seeing the soil rise and split apart, swallowing sections of houses and vehicles. Videos captured by local residents Massive flooding hits China after catastrophic dam collapse. In an unfolding disaster that has captured global attention, massive flooding has swept across China. In southern China, following the catastrophic collapse of a major dam. torrential rains over the past several days pushed local rivers to their limits. Overwhelming the aging infrastructure and ultimately leading to the dam stage. The collapse triggered a sudden and destructive surge of water that inundated several cities, towns, and villages downstream, leaving tens of thousands displaced. And widespread devastation in its wake. According to reports from CCTV News, CGTN, and Reuters correspondents on the ground, the emergency services are struggling to cope with the enormous scale of the disaster. Rescuers are working around the clock to reach trapped residents. Often using boats and helicopters to navigate through flooded streets that have turned into raging rivers. Entire neighborhoods remain submerged, with rooftops barely visible above the muddy waterline. Eyewitnesses described scenes of chaos and desperation as residents fled their homes, with little more than the clothes on their backs. Some were seen clinging to debris or makeshift rafts, waiting to be rescued. The collapse of the dam also caused widespread power outages and disrupted water supplies, leaving millions without access to clean drinking water or electricity. In many areas, communication networks have gone down, making it difficult for families to locate their loved ones. Local authorities in Hunan and Jiangxi provinces have declared a state of emergency, urging residents in low-lying areas to evacuate immediately. Thousands of soldiers and emergency response teams have been deployed to assist with rescue operations, while temporary shelters have been set up in schools, stadiums, and government buildings. Food, blankets, and medical aid are being distributed, but officials warn that supplies are running dangerously low as the situation continues to deteriorate. Meteorologists from China Central Television, CCTV Weather Center, have reported that the region has experienced its heaviest rainfall in more than 4 decades. Some areas recorded over 400 millimeters of rain in just 24 hours, a level that even the most robust flood defenses were never designed to handle. The dam, built more than 50 years ago, had long been considered structurally vulnerable, and several experts had raised concerns about its stability during extreme weather events. Environmental analysts and hydrologists are now examining what caused the sudden failure. Early assessments suggest that a combination of record-breaking rainfall, poor maintenance, and the accumulation of silt may have contributed to the catastrophic breach. Video footage broadcast by CCTV and Phoenix News shows the moment when the structure gave way, sending a torrent of water cascading into nearby valleys and towns, destroying everything in its path. In the aftermath, major transportation networks have been paralyzed. Highways are submerged. Railway lines have been washed out, and dozens of bridges have either collapsed or sustained severe damage. Airports in the affected regions have cancelled hundreds of flights, and authorities have suspended operations at several industrial facilities along the river to prevent further environmental contamination. Hospitals are overwhelmed with injured survivors suffering from fractures, hypothermia, and other flood-related conditions. Medical staff are operating under extreme pressure, often with limited power and dwindling supplies. Emergency tents have been set up outside several hospitals to handle the overflow of patients. Chinese state media has been broadcasting continuous live coverage of the disaster, showing rescue teams navigating through murky floodwaters and families donating food, water, and money to help those affected. Economists warn that the financial impact could be immense. Entire agricultural zones have been destroyed, wiping out crops that were nearing harvest. Factories and warehouses in key industrial regions have been flooded, leading to losses that could take months to assess. Infrastructure damage too is extensive, with estimates already reaching into the billions of dollars. International reactions have begun pouring in, with neighboring countries offering assistance and humanitarian aid. Several global news outlets, including BBC World News, CNN International, and Al Jazeera English, have highlighted the scale of the flooding, calling it one of the most severe natural disasters to hit China in recent decades. Despite the grim circumstances, stories of heroism and resilience continue to emerge. In one village, a local firefighter rescued more than 30 people from rising waters. Join me as I challenge myself to explore the heart of Tel Aviv while fires rage nearby. Let's see how close I can get to the action. The situation in Tel Aviv is rapidly escalating as massive fires engulf the city and its surroundings. Flames are sweeping through forests and residential areas, forcing thousands to evacuate and leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The urgency of the situation cannot be overstated, with firefighters battling to contain the blaze and prevent it from spreading further.
Yes. Mandeville Canyon.
Wildfires of this scale are often the result of a combination of factors, including scorching heat waves, dry conditions, and human activity.
That's the Hollywood Hills, just a few, I want to say not more than a mile away from us.
In this case, strong winds have been fanning the flames, making it difficult for firefighters to gain control. Human activity, whether intentional or accidental, also plays a significant role in sparking these devastating fires. Furthermore, the region's dry landscape and vegetation provide ample fuel for the fires to spread rapidly. The lack of preparedness and inadequate infrastructure have exacerbated the crisis, putting residents and emergency responders at greater risk. As the fires rage on, local authorities are scrambling to respond effectively. Firefighters are working tirelessly to combat the flames, with support from emergency services and community volunteers. The challenges they face are immense, from battling fast-moving flames to navigating treacherous terrain. Aerial support has been deployed to help douse the fires, but progress has been slow. Community centers have been set up to provide shelter and assistance to those displaced by the fire. Despite these efforts, the situation remains dire, with many areas still under threat. In the midst of the chaos, there have been moments of heroism and bravery. A dramatic turning point came when firefighters managed to create a fire break, containing the blaze and preventing it from spreading into the city center. This was a significant breakthrough, but the battle is far from over. The efforts of emergency responders and volunteers have been commendable, and their dedication to saving lives and property is evident. Meanwhile, residents are banding together to support each other, offering aid and shelter to those in need. The ongoing risks posed by these wildfires are a stark reminder of the importance of community resilience and climate action. As we move forward, it's crucial that we learn from this experience and work together to mitigate the impact of future disasters. The road to recovery will be long and challenging, but with collective effort and determination, the people of Tel Aviv will rebuild and emerge stronger. As the fires rage on, local authorities have sprung into action, deploying firefighting units and emergency responders to combat the blaze. The firefighting efforts have been intense, with planes dropping water and fire retardants, and ground crews battling the flames on foot. Community involvement has also been crucial, with residents banding together to support those affected and assist in the firefighting efforts. The challenges faced by these brave men and women are immense, from treacherous terrain to unpredictable wind patterns. Despite their best efforts, containing the fire has proven to be an uphill battle. The situation remains fluid, with the fire's trajectory unpredictable and the threat to residents and infrastructure ever present. In a stunning display of bravery, a group of firefighters managed to rescue a family trapped in their home as the flames closed in. The heroic rescue was a turning point in the firefighting efforts, as it not only saved lives, but also gave the community a glimmer of hope. The fire department's swift response and coordination were instrumental in containing the fire in that area, allowing for a moment of respite amidst the chaos. As the situation continues to unfold, moments like these serve as a testament to the resilience and bravery of those fighting the fires. The bravery and selflessness displayed by these individuals will not soon be forgotten. The causes of these devastating wildfires are multifaceted. Hot, dry weather conditions striking just before midnight made the situation especially chaotic. Fireworks displays were cancelled across several major cities as local authorities prioritized safety and stability. Eyewitnesses described scenes of panic as people in crowded urban centers ran from restaurants and high-rise buildings while alarms echoed through the night. I was celebrating with my family when everything started shaking violently, said a resident from Taipei. The lights went out, dishes fell from the shelves, and we just ran outside. Everyone was terrified. It felt like the ground was alive. In Fuzhou, China, surveillance footage showed high-rise towers trembling as glass windows shattered and car alarms went off in unison. Local authorities quickly issued safety advisories, urging people to stay away from old buildings and cliffs until aftershocks subside. Meanwhile, in Japan's Okinawa Prefecture, the meteorological agency confirmed that tremors were strong enough to disrupt public transport and power lines, though no major infrastructure failures were immediately reported. Infrastructure damage and power outages. Power grids across parts of Taiwan and eastern China temporarily went down following the quake. Engineers worked throughout the night to restore electricity to hospitals, communication towers, and airports. In Kaohsiung, a section of an elevated highway reportedly cracked, forcing traffic diversions and emergency inspections. Taiwan Railways suspended all train operations until early morning, citing safety checks. In Japan, several local flights were delayed or rerouted due to precautionary measures taken by air traffic control authorities. China's National Earthquake Administration confirmed that aftershocks measuring between 4.0 and 5.3 continued to rattle the region hours after the main tremor. Experts warned that additional quakes could occur in the coming days, urging residents to remain cautious and stay tuned to official updates. Scientists analyzed the quake. Seismologists from regional observatories explained that the earthquake likely originated along the boundary between the Philippine Sea Plate and the Eurasian Plate, one of the most seismically active regions on Earth. The tectonic stress in this zone has historically produced some of Asia's most devastating earthquakes. According to early assessments, the quake's epicenter was located beneath the seabed near Taiwan's eastern coast at a depth of roughly 25 kilometers. Professor Kenji Nakamura, a geophysics expert from Tokyo University, told NHK World, "The energy released from this quake was extremely high. It's part of a long-term pattern of stress accumulation in the region. Because of the location and depth, it was felt across multiple countries simultaneously, from Japan to southern China." International reactions and support. As news of the disaster spread, governments across Asia expressed solidarity with the affected regions. Rescue teams in neighboring countries were placed on standby to offer assistance if needed. Regional cooperation centers in Beijing, Taipei, and Tokyo established real-time communication lines to share seismic data, ensuring that emergency measures remain coordinated. Meanwhile, humanitarian organizations began mobilizing resources. The Red Cross in both China and Taiwan announced rapid response teams to provide food, clean water, and medical assistance to those affected. Volunteers across the region use social media to offer transportation, shelter, and aid for displaced families. New Year's Eve turned into a night of uncertainty. For millions of people, the earthquake transformed what was meant to be a joyful night into one of fear and anxiety. In city squares once filled with music and celebration, now stood rescue teams, firefighters, and paramedics working under flashing lights. Fireworks were replaced by the sounds of sirens and helicopter blades cutting through the cold night air. As morning broke over East Asia, news anchors continued broadcasting live updates showing rescue efforts and the latest government statements. The Japan Meteorological Agency, Taiwan Central Weather Bureau, and China Earthquake Network Center are now closely monitoring seismic activity in the region. Analysts predict that the event could prompt stricter building regulations and renewed public discussions about disaster preparedness. This powerful New Year's earthquake serves as a grim reminder of how fragile life can be in the face of natural forces. Despite advances in technology and early warning systems, the unpredictability of the Earth's movements continues to challenge humanity's resilience. A message of hope. Even amid destruction, stories of heroism and compassion are emerging. Firefighters rescuing families from collapsed homes, neighbors helping strangers find safety, and doctors working through exhaustion to save lives all serve as proof that in moments of disaster, the human spirit endures. A powerful and fast-moving storm, Hurricane Melissa, continues its devastating path across the Caribbean. Leaving behind widespread destruction and human tragedy. Breaking news from Italy. A devastating flood has struck, causing catastrophe. Heavy rains turned city streets into raging rivers. Local news channels are broadcasting live footage. Anchors deliver urgent reports with concern. Homes are submerged under fast-moving water. Entire neighborhoods are cut off and isolated. Families scramble to reach higher ground. Bridges have collapsed across major waterways. Roads have cracked and washed away. Cars float helplessly in the flood. Rescue teams are navigating streets by boat. Helicopters hover overhead, guiding evacuation. Emergency sirens echo through the streets. Hospitals are overwhelmed with injured residents. Doctors treat shock, hypothermia, and minor injuries. Medical tents are set up in safe zones. Children cling to family members in shelters. Elderly people are helped by volunteers. Shelters fill quickly with displaced families. Volunteers hand out food, blankets, and water. Television captures scenes of fear and resilience. A woman lifts her child above the floodwaters. A man carries his elderly parent on his back. Parents comfort frightened children in the dark. The flood came suddenly, without warning. In moments, lives and homes were turned upside down. Authorities declared a state of emergency. Evacuation spread across entire regions. Community centers become temporary safe havens. Rescue crews continue searching through debris fields. Survey teams assess damage to critical infrastructure. Electricity is out in many towns and villages. Power lines lie tangled in flood debris. Water supplies are contaminated in some areas. Local news alerts citizens to boil water before use. Education is suspended as schools become shelters. Businesses remain closed amid ongoing danger. Water levels continue to fluctuate. Meteorologists warn more rain may be on its way. Engineers reinforce levees to prevent further breaches. Television viewers across Italy watch in solidarity. Stories of survival emerge amid devastation. A couple was rescued from their rooftop by boat. A volunteer carried blankets to children in flooded shelters. Neighbors share food and hope with one another. The emotional weight of the disaster is evident on camera. Tears flow as people recount their losses, yet hope also shines through smiles of relief. Emergency crews work day and night without pause. Rescue dogs search for signs of life in the mud. Every life saved is celebrated as a victory, but many are still missing. Family members search through shelters in despair. Nightfall brings more challenges and fear. Lights flicker as generators power shelters. Volunteers comfort the frightened in candlelit rooms. Local TV continues to deliver updates until every person is safe. Authorities promise resilient rebuilding efforts. Communities vow to support each other in the months ahead. Disaster has struck with devastating force. Yet in the flood's wake, unity emerges, and even in the darkest waters, the strength of the people endures. Local news channels are running continuous live updates. Anchors deliver reports with grave urgency. Torrential rains unleashed widespread destruction across Central. Floodwaters swept through towns and rural areas alike. Entire neighborhoods were swallowed by muddy torrents. Rescue workers race against time in flowing streets. Helicopters hover overhead, searching for stranded residents. Reporters stand knee-deep in floodwaters, voices shaking with emotion. Italian families rush to higher ground as homes flood in minutes. Emergency sirens blare across towns. Shelters filled quickly with displaced families. Emergency centers provided warm meals. Doctors treated injuries and hypothermia in makeshift clinics. Volunteers offered comfort to frightened children. Neighbors shared food and shelter with one another. Industries and farms bore heavy losses. Flooding shut down factories, washed away fields, and destroyed crops. Heritage sites were submerged beneath raging waters. The emotional toll was as intense as the physical damage. Floodwaters receded slowly. Debris stained streets and parks. Landslides left hillsides barren. Roads and bridges lay broken across the landscape. Rail and air travel remained disrupted. The disaster began with endless rain. For days the sky opened. For days the land drowned. Meteorologists on CNN spoke of record storms. BBC warned of rivers breaking their banks. Euronews called it a critical situation. The water came fast. The Po River grew violent. Its waves reached far beyond the shore. Turin disappeared under muddy floods. Venice suffered again, deeper than ever before. Florence, Pisa, Bologna, all scarred. Italian news channel RA showed families climbing rooftops. Children rescued by boats. Elderly carried on stretchers through waist-deep water. The cameras did not turn. In Mecca, where rainfall began intensifying late Friday evening, torrential showers quickly overwhelmed drainage networks across several districts. Local reporters described scenes of flood water surging through residential neighborhoods, forcing motorists to abandon their cars as currents grew stronger. Continuous updates from local TV channels show responders assisting stranded families, navigating knee-deep water to reach people living in older structures near the foothills. Authorities say the holy city will continue to experience powerful rain. Bands through Tuesday with thunderstorms forming repeatedly over the western mountains. Flash flood warnings remain active and residents are advised to remain indoors whenever possible. Riyadh, rare heavy rains transform urban streets into rapid streams. In the capital city of Riyadh, the skies turned dark on Saturday morning as thick clouds rolled in, carrying one of the strongest cloud bursts the central region has seen in months. News broadcasts showed sudden sheets of rain falling over the city's skyline, followed by rapid flooding in underpasses, tunnels, and busy roadways. Some districts reported temporary electricity fluctuations due to the intensity of the storm. Footage circulating on news channels revealed lines of cars trapped in quickly rising water, with emergency units working tirelessly to redirect traffic and pump out flood-accumulated areas near neighborhoods. Meteorologists warn that more rounds of heavy rain are expected through Monday night and early Tuesday, thunderstorms capable of producing localized flooding within minutes. Jeddah, the coastal city, hit the storm's downpour. Jeddah, known for its susceptibility to flash floods due to its coastal geography, has endured particularly severe rainfall since Saturday afternoon. Reporters stationed near the Corniche captured dramatic views of waves crashing against the waterfront as dark storm clouds hovered overhead. The city's drainage infrastructure, already stressed by the rapid intensity of the downpour, struggled to keep up. Streets in the northern and southern districts saw water levels rise quickly, leaving sections of the city temporarily inaccessible. News bulletins highlighted ongoing rescue efforts, with teams using specialized vehicles to reach isolated areas. Jeddah authorities continue to advise caution, emphasizing that more rainfall is expected before the weather system clears out midweek. Medina, strong thunderstorms rattle the city. In Medina, powerful thunderstorms brought intense bursts of rainfall, loud thunder, and frequent lightning strikes that illuminated the sky throughout the night. Local TV channels aired dramatic scenes of torrential rain hammering rooftops, causing alarms to sound in areas where water levels rapidly climbed. Several desert roads connecting Medina to neighboring regions were temporarily closed as a precaution, and travelers were urged to avoid long-distance driving until conditions improved. Other affected regions across the kingdom, outside the major cities, Numerous regions across Saudi Arabia have also been placed under heavy rain alerts. This includes Taif, where storm clouds lingered over the mountains, producing repeated downpours. Aba and Asir region, where sloped terrain caused fast-moving runoff, sending water cascading down rugged hillsides. Hail, Qasim and Tabuk, receiving moderate to heavy rainfall, with forecasts predicting even stronger precipitation into early next week. Eastern province, where scattered thunderstorms developed unexpectedly, surprising residents with sudden rain bursts. News channels nationwide continue to broadcast rolling coverage of the developing weather situation, with meteorologists explaining the atmospheric patterns responsible for this prolonged storm sequence. Emergency services remain on high alert. Civil defense authorities across the kingdom have raised their readiness levels to ensure rapid response to any emerging danger. Teams are being deployed to flood-prone zones, while rescue units remain on standby for swift operations. Residents living near valleys, wadis, or naturally low areas have been strongly encouraged to relocate temporarily if conditions worsen. Multiple advisories emphasize the dangers of driving through flooded streets, as even shallow water can conceal significant hazards or strong currents. Schools in several districts have shifted to online learning to ensure student safety. Meteorologists predict more rain until Tuesday. Weather analysts say the storm system responsible for the prolonged rainfall is being fueled by moisture-laden clouds drawn across the Red Sea and funneled inland by shifting wind patterns. This combination is expected to keep conditions unstable until at least Tuesday evening. Heavy rain, thunderstorms, and localized flash floods remain likely across western, central, and northern Saudi Arabia. Authorities urge the public to follow all safety instructions issued through official channels. A wave of powerful weather systems is sweeping across Saudi Arabia, prompting urgent alerts for heavy rains, flash floods, and severe thunderstorms expected from Friday through Tuesday. According to multiple national and regional news channels, including Saudi Weather Network, Gulf Alert News, Middle East Climate Channel, and Arabia Live Updates, meteorologists are tracking an unusually intense band of moisture moving in from the southwest, merging with unstable atmospheric conditions over the central and western regions of the kingdom. This rare combination is fueling what experts are calling the strongest rainfall period of the season. Mecca braces for torrential downpours. In Mecca, authorities are preparing for extreme rainfall events, with weather presenters on Arabia Weather Channel warning of rapidly developing storm cells capable of producing intense downpours within minutes. The city, already known for its dense urban layout and limited drainage capacity in certain districts, is on high alert as emergency teams begin clearing water channels, inspecting roads, and relocating response vehicles to flood-prone zones.